All right, it is that time once again to hit the books, part of the Hammer Betting Network, alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish, our producer extraordinaire, Zach Phillips. I'm merely Brad Powers. In today's conference preview edition, we're tackling the Mountain West, fresh off arguably their worst season in 25 years of existence a year ago. We'll see if there's any improvement for the upcoming season. But before we get into that, let me remind you that Hit the Books is brought to you by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book for games, futures, and player props. Save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Download the app today. If you're looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/hitthebooks or hit the link in the description. If you sign up through this page, it helps support the show. Knish, Mountain West, this is my baby now. For those of you watching on YouTube, Joey Liv thought this was a MAGA hat that I'm wearing, but it's actually a UNLV red hat with white lettering. I mean, I know you got to be careful with that in today's day and age, but it is a UNLV hat, although I'm not too high on UNLV this year.
I was going to say, you told me, did you get the seasons back again, or did you cancel them?
I canceled them, but not because I don't like the coach. It's just, man, I can't get to these games. Like last year, they had like 4 non-Saturday games. So yeah, I could go if it's a Thursday night or a Friday night. But I got one of those this year, so it was too much of a hassle. Nobody wanted to go with me. I'm terrible company, man. So I leave at halftime anyway, all the games.
Well, you got to come in for the BG game this year in Ann Arbor, baby. We can get you out on the field. Famous BG alum. Brad Powers celebrated here.
Nah. What's the line on that game going to be, like 40?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be up
49? There. 49? Yeah, it's going to be up there. Wow. Well, let's talk this conference. So obviously, historically, Boise State has been the cream of the crop in this conference. They made the championship game a year ago. In a power rating, at least to start off, I do have them number one, at least entering this 2023 season. There's a lot to like about them, followed by the Fresno States, the Air Forces of the world. I do think there's a couple of possibilities for teams to at least make a run. The Colorado States, I think Nevada is going to be much improved this year. So anxious to hear your thoughts on those teams. But let's just get it kick-started here with Boise State. The Broncos – last year, Andy Avalos fired his OC in the middle of the season after they got embarrassed by UTEP. He replaces him with Dirk Cutter, and away they went offensively. Taylor Green, their quarterback's back. If you haven't watched Boise State football, incredible athlete, 6'5", 215, can run. He needs to improve as a passer. But the thing I like most probably about this Boise State team is their running back duel. When you talk about, George Halani's back yet again, this Genty kid at running back really flashed in the bowl game. He had 800-plus yards as a true freshman a year ago. That's as good of a 1-2 punch at running back in the entire group of 5. Defense, they lost a couple of starters to draft, but Avalos' defenses usually perform well there. The only hang-up for me on this Boise State team is their schedule, man. Difficult. Let's start with the non-conference. Washington Open, UCF, at Memphis. I mean, that's 3 really tough games. So while I think they'll be favored in every single Mountain West game, those 3 games in non-conference might beat them up a little bit. It was one of the major reasons why I took an early position under 9. Wouldn't recommend it now at their current numbers, but anxious to hear what you got to say about the Broncos.
Obviously, definitely the cream of the crop in the conference. Definitely a team with the most talent. One of those, even though Taylor Green can be a little limited passing, I think it definitely in the G5 conference there, you can kind of get away with that a little bit more than I think you can in the P5 type of deal. But the thing that I would say is, maybe the most bullish case I think with Boise State is, and we'll get into it here with the next couple teams, is I think this second tier of team in the Mountain West just isn't as strong. I've kind of got the arrow pointing down on a number of programs here that have been, the Fresno, losing Jake Haener, Air Force, San Diego State with, my old Uncle Brady there at coach. There's just a number of teams. San Jose State was live, for a few years. They can be. I just don't know if this, the second tier, the normal teams that have been even exceeding Boise State the last couple of years, are going to be able to maintain it this year, where they brought a lot back. I just think they're going to almost like out talent the conference this year. But it would be, and we'll go through it. The conference, maybe the conference in all the land that I could see that I would call the most wide open mountain air, baby. I think that you could see a number of teams in this conference, anywhere from 1 to maybe getting all the way down to 9 or 10 there in terms of the odds listings that could make a legitimate shot to make a run at this championship game, which I don't think you can say in most conferences. So yeah, this is one where hey, I've sprinkled a number of teams. I know you have, but definitely Boise they would be the only team in what I would, this top 4 here that I would even remotely consider.
Plus 225. Any interest in that? I actually took a little bit of a worse number. I think 220 is what I was seeing. What do we got here? Any interest in 220 at that looks like Caesars?
I'm okay with it with a portfolio that is not going to include for me any of the the next 5 options there. I think the other sprinkles I have are much longer numbers. So start the portfolio with a Boise number. I'm okay with that.
Or do we go over 7.5? It's juiced at FanDuel and MGM.
It's tough because, as you said, their non-con is going to be.
If they win one of those,
obviously
they win the game against an FCS opponent, but I could see them losing 2 out of those.
I don't have a strong take either way on that one.
I will take the plus money. Again, I don't want to lay 170. Let's just take the conference future again. I bet it at plus 210 at Circa when it came out. So I even got 10 cents worse of the number. So
the title game's still at their place, isn't it? By last time I checked, it's not a neutral. Is it at?
If they have the best record, it's at their place. Now, if another team has a better record than them, it's at that opponent. But who's gonna have a better record than them in conference play?
Well,
I don't see it. And let's start running down the teams that at least from a power ratings perspective could be somewhat close to them. Defending champs Fresno State that beat Boise State for the Mountain West Championship on the blue turf last year, but. This is a Fresno State team that lose their everything, Jake Kaner. You want to talk about, value to a point spread. Look at what Fresno State was without Jake Kaner and then with Jake Kaner. With them, that team won their last 9 games of the season and were, one of the best group of 5 teams in the entire country, but he's gone. Mikey Keene comes in from UCF as a transfer to compete for the job. But they also lost a 4th-round draft pick, or, not a 4th. Hainer was a 4th-round pick. Their running back, Jordan Mims, was an all-everything. Their top 3 receivers. I don't like anything really at the skill position there. Defense loses their top couple of guys there. One of them transferred to Oregon. This is, in my opinion, a Fresno State team that'll take a pretty sizable step back. But, schedule-wise, there'll be a slight dog at Purdue. What's that, 6-point spread there. There'll be a slight dog against Arizona State. They get Boise at home. Not a lot of surefire losses on the schedule. I will say that.
Yeah, they did get obviously said, a favorable look in the schedule, but man, I am not a Mikey Keene guy in terms of coming in. I think even if, the best part of Mikey Keene is going to be a significant downgrade from Hainer, lost their best skill position player. It's an under for me at 8.5. I liked the under on their season win total. I think especially if they're going in, if you get at Purdue, at Arizona State, they don't pick up one of those. I think it's going to be really tough for them. Eastern Washington's taking a step back there, but they outside of Kent State coming in, but at Wyoming is never easy. They do play Boise State, at San Jose State, at San Diego State. It's their fade for me. I just think they're too much talent loss. I don't think you can replicate. When you lose a quarterback like Hainer, and it's a team that made me a lot of money over the last few years that I was big on under this regime. I think now it's going to come to roost a little bit. Even though Fresno, you are able to recruit a lot better than a lot of Mountain West schools there being in California, but I don't see them being able to turn this over and kind of replicate any type of success with like a 9-3 or a 10-2. That just seems out of bounds for me. So yeah, under 8.5. I'm good with a -130 there.
You're welcome for that one. I think it's 8.5 because I took positions on over 7.5, and sometimes you know you get
8-4 sounds good to me, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, 8-4 sounds. In fact, that's where I would make it 8-4. So all right, I'm not going to disagree with that in that one. I think 8-4 is a lot more likely than 9-3. Let's talk Air Force here. You want to talk about friendly schedule? They get it yet again, Air Force. But let's talk about personnel. Defense. I mean, I'm going to lead it with the defense. Normally I'm talking skill position, but man, I get it that they're not on the field much, the defense, because of their option offense. But I mean, this was a defense last year that was number 1 in the country in total defense, number 3 in scoring, 9th in rushing success rate allowed. They were number 4 in red zone touchdown rate allowed. I mean, they got off the field their last 2 games. They allowed 0 third down conversions. Their last 2 opponents, Baylor and San Diego State. 2 decent teams, over 21 on third down. So, I mean, this defense continues to roll. You look on the offense, you lose Hazik Daniels at quarterback. Fullback Brad Roberts is gone. Their leading wideout's gone. So I think they take a step back, although most of their offensive line is back. But I was expecting to fade this Air Force team. And then you look at their schedule. I mean, there is a good chance that this team is favored in their first 11 games. You don't believe me? Go look at it. I think their first, good chance of being a sizable underdog is against Boise State in the finale. So I took, old Circa, our friends at Circa opened it up at 8 when the entire market was painted 8.5. Should I respect that, side for Circa? I get it. I mean, it's a sharper book than most, but I took over 8. I know they were taking a position there, but I was more than happy to go over 8 wins. I'll probably regret it, but I don't think I think I have at worst is a push there.
No, I'm with. You know what? I agree. I was kind of leaning your same way there in terms of what I was going in just with their kind of my thoughts on it. But I mean, as you said, the defense really strong. I feel like you can just even though Zeke Daniels was at times when he was healthy electric, they did rotate in a number of quarterbacks. I think if there's one thing that's kind of overblown in terms of returning with the option is getting your quarterback back there because it's not like the guy. I mean, unless you have a transcendent player like Navy, whose guys' names escaping me. They had the 1 year, but
Malcolm
for the
Perry,
for the most part, I think the production is pretty replicable. But with their defense, I mean, that's going to be hard on a lot of Mountain West teams that they play a style of ball out there that I don't think. There's only a handful of teams in the conference that can really, match up well with that. Kind of as we said, with Navy's benefit, where you're going into some of these, these G5 teams that don't have a ton of, defensive line talent, makes it much tougher. So,
yeah.
I haven't done anything though with Air Force in terms of, in terms of their. I agree. I would have played. I agree. You beat me to the 8 there. But 8.5 doesn't make me want to go either way. I didn't take any conference futures. I think the numbers, not so super appetizing for me in a conference that I think is more wide open. So I don't have any positions for them, but I would agree with you that I'd be, if a gun to my head, I'd lean towards the over and them being a little bit better than market.
Oh, here we go, boys. It's that time of year, baby. Uncle Joey Knish, a.k.a. Joey Seven Figures. It's football season, and you know what that means, baby. Circa Sports Football Contest. The biggest guaranteed prizes in all the land. $14 million. Let me say that again. $14 million in guaranteed money. Zero rake. 0% rake. Every dollar that goes into the pot gets paid out to the contestants. The 2 biggest contests, Circa Millions, Circa Survivor. You don't want to miss it. Get to Vegas before September 9th, baby. I'll be there for Bet Bash, signing up, ready to go. I want Derek Stevens money, baby. Give me some of that Derek Stevens cash. Circa Millions, Circa Survivor, get there.
Let's talk about the only team. We pull behind the curtain. We're taping a couple conferences today, so there's a total of 26 teams that we're going to talk about in these 2 conferences. The only team I have not bet a season win total is San Diego State. Season win total 6.5, 7. Call me, damaged goods, but I mean, I'm still trying to recover for that performance in the Hawaii Bowl for San Diego State, where somehow, some way, San Diego State lost a football game where they allowed minus 66 yards rushing and blew a 2-touchdown lead against Middle Tennessee. I literally could make a case that they could have taken a knee on freaking offense after they got up. They literally could have taken a knee on every play and probably would have won the game, but they had 5 turnovers. They somehow tried to throw it 40 times for some stupid reason, but they have a new coordinator, Ryan Lindsay. You might be familiar with the name. He used to be quarterback for San Diego State. The game plan is to throw more. We'll see if they got the personnel to do it. I'm not sure that they do. They lose some of their best guys on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not a Brady Hoke fan. I'm sure you're not. At this level, he does okay, but I don't know, man. I thought that win total right around 7 was fair. I got him an underdog in 5 games. I know we faded him right on this program in week 1 with Ohio.
I feel like this program has just gone away from is like trying to get away from the bread and butter of it's like you had something that, it was going pretty well, and then you wanted just a little, you got greedy and you want a little bit more. And now it's, I just think offensively, their game plan of like, we're going to open it up somewhere, we're going to throw the, I don't think
Why?
I don't know. I don't think they have the personnel for that. I don't think they have the coordinators for that. I don't think it worked out particularly well. To me, this was a team that was able to get some big of the beef. Brady Hoke was able to recruit the offensive linemen that were for, a rushing based attack, do a little bit of play action, play defense. That was their, Rocky Long in there in the defensive play. To me, that was their thing. And now I just don't know if shifting away from it. I mean, I tell you, we faded them week 1 there. I didn't I thought, I was hoping to get a little bit more of a better number on the regular season win, or I would have been an under player, but I agree with you. 6.5, it wasn't a play for me. But it's not a team I think is going to compete for the conference. It's a team that, their head coaches just, especially when you get into some close games, that's where it really factors in. So I don't like the changes they've made or kind of what they've doing. They still got, a talented roster with respect to the rest of the conference. But no, it was a fade in week 1 for me. It would be an under or nothing for me, and definitely not investing in them in a conference future portfolio.
Ryan Lindley's a coordinator. I think I might have said Lindsay. I think he's a coordinator back east. So if I didn't say that right when I first said it, Ryan Lindley, the former quarterback, is their new offense coordinator. Yeah, everyone tries to be cute. I still think football can be won. Play defense, run the football, play action. They won so many seasons of multiple, double-digit win seasons. It's working. You can be that different team on the West Coast, that different program that's all about physicality and win a bunch of games. A la what Stanford was, under Harbaugh in the early years of Shaw. I don't know why you'd want to get away from that. It works out west here, but whatever. Let's talk a couple more teams. Speaking of play defense, run the football, play action, Wyoming. Let's talk about the Pokes here. A team that, Craig Bohl's really conservative. They went for it on 4th down 6% of the time last year. That's the lowest in the FBS. So, if you're an analytics guy, you're probably not liking Wyoming too much. You're also probably not liking their quarterback. Peasley leaves a lot to be desired. I do like the transfer at running back, that Whaley kid from Northern Illinois. I think you plug into this offense, you're going to get 1,000 yards. Defense will be much better than what they were a year ago. But that being said, man, this is kind of a team that's got a high floor, very low ceiling. They're good. We know they're going to be like 6-6, maybe 7-5. What say you on Wyoming?
It's like what we just talked about with San Diego State, except they were just a lot worse at doing it. Like without as much talent, that Greg. And it kind of works. They play in a lot of weather games at Wyoming. You can get the right teams at home. They can stop the option versus Air Force. You can kind of play their style of football, especially when it's cold. This passing offense, though, last year was like, what? We cannot complete a forward pass under any circumstances, and then we're just going to go 3 and out and keep punting. It's like they, I'm all for the run and play defense if it can work, but Craig Bohl takes it to another level of just as you said. They're probably beat up on some of the bad teams playing their style of football. Not going to be able to compete with the big dogs. if anything, I mean, I would be a little bit more pessimistic than usual.
I did bet under 6.5. I don't
six
see it.
at 6, yeah, at 6.5, I would have definitely been a buyer on the under there. Even a 6, you could tell me that I would still take the under. At 5.5, too low, but I don't see this team getting to 7-5. I don't think their talent level is very good. I know they play a style of football that can be tough on certain teams, but yeah, coaching staff, low skill level position. Wyoming. Oh, we do still have a 6.5 available.
You want it?
I want. Yes, I want it so bad that I'm not sure if it's going to be. When we release this, but yes, 6.5 under -135 is a bet. Put that on the sheet for us.
There we go. Wyoming under 6.5. That is a bet. I give you, if you're watching this and supporting the show, I'll give you a little bonus too. I think that line in week 1's too short. I'll lay the 13 with 13.5 with Texas Tech. Everyone's talking look ahead because they got Oregon on deck, and it's the elevation in Wyoming. I'm here to tell you, Texas Tech's way better than Wyoming. So I mean, I don't think they can stop Texas Tech's pass offense. So I laid the points, bet that multiple times. Texas Tech week 1. We will be talking week 1 in a couple. When I get back from vacation and we start our weekly show back up again at the end of July and early August, we'll be talking some more week 1s. There's a bonus for you. Let's talk a couple more teams that at least intrigue me, and then I'll open the floor to you. UNLV, we'll talk about the team I'm wearing the cap. I'll say this, because I am selling the short term, but I am buying the long term. Barry Odom, I think, is a really good hire. It's an upgrade over Marcus Arroyo. Everyone's shocked that they fired him because they won 5 games a year ago and had some steady progression as far as the win total. After going over in that 2020 season, I wasn't. Pull behind the curtain. Marcus Arroyo wasn't friendly with the boosters. Wasn't friendly with the Fertitta family, which, I mean, the Fertitta name is on the football complex. I mean, I'd like to be friendly with them. I mean, that might be something wise to do. There's also, I mean, this population here is exploding. He wasn't necessarily friendly with the local high school coaches. They didn't recruit locally like they should have. And more importantly, why he was fired, abysmal in close games. And you could say poor luck. It was poor coaching. I watched in the stands 1 in 10 in one possession games under his watch. And I literally focus in on his substitutions. I'd watch the sidelines, mass confusion, timeouts and inopportune times. It's just, I'm glad that they got rid of him. Barry Odom, to me, got maybe a bad rap in Missouri. When they fired him for going 500. I mean, in the SEC, that's about what you're going to be at a program like Missouri. They fired him for Drinkwitz. What has he been the last 3 years? 500. So I think Barry Odom's pretty solid. I like his coordinator hires. I like what they're doing recruiting-wise. They have one of the top G5 classes in the country right now. They're recruiting locally. So long-term, I'm buying it. Short-term, I'm not. I was stunned. They put this win total out 6.5. To put in perspective where UNLV as a program has been, they have topped a 6.5 win total one time in the last 22 years. So under 6.5 for me there. If you can still find a 6 even, I think at absolute worst, we push that one. I think DraftKings might still have a 6 there. I mean, in the non-conference, they have Michigan. They have Vanderbilt. I don't think they win that one at home, even though UTEP on the road is going to be difficult. And then they're playing – this is an improved conference this year. We'll talk about some of these teams. Colorado State's much better. Nevada's much better than what they were a year ago. And they play all these teams. So, I think 5 and 7 is where I'm at now on UNLV. What say you?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree. It's one of those that, going into it before the market was up, it's like, this could be a little bit of a buy.
I agreed with that. I thought I'd be buying.
And, I like Doug Brumfeld's back. He's kind of a little like Ricky White, is a guy who, as long as he's staying out of trouble, is a Power 5 talent receiver. He was, good at Michigan State, had some big games. But as you've said, I agree with you. The Royal, I mean, you've got Bishop Gorman right there in your back. You weren't recruiting luckily. Like UNLV, I think should be a little bit of a sleeping giant here that has not at all reached their ceiling. I think you can get kids to come there. I think you should be able to recruit the population. It's hopefully they found I don't know if Barry Odom's the right. I think he's better than Marcus Arroyo. I don't know if he's the right guy to take this, up to being the Mountain West champ, but. Yeah, I agree. I just can't, as you said, really tough non-con. I just can't get to, thinking this team's going to be, a 7-5 team in year one. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
It was kind of a team that I was looking to back. Numbers didn't come that way. You can't get stuck on, hey, numbers, not teams cliche. You just, it's one of those that you just had to pass on, or in your case, 6.5. That just seemed a little too bullish for a team that has not, as you said, has not reached those heights for most of our lifetime.
No, it has not. So we're good there. I want to talk a team that I'm really bullish on, and I think I'm not the only one. Colorado State, I think, makes a significant improvement this year. They just didn't have it last year, but I got to give them credit. After they got dump trucked by an FCS school in Sacramento State, you're thinking, this is going to be one of the worst teams in the country. They kept fighting, clawing, and scratching at the end of last season, particularly on the defense side of the ball. They had a true freshman quarterback in Clay Millen that completed 72% of his passes, a remarkable feat considering that he basically was trying to complete passes on his back because Colorado State's offensive line was arguably the worst in the country last year.
Bad.
They allowed 59 sacks. So I think as long as they go from absolute terrible to even a bad offensive line, they're going to see an improvement on the offensive side of the ball. And again, most of their top players on defense are back. I am bullish on this team. I bet them over 4.5 wins. I took a flyer as a conference future 70-1. I took them in week 1 against Washington State. What say you on Jay Norvell's team?
No, I'm with. Listen, we are in alignment here. Took some, I think the best I got was a 50-1 on the conference future. I know a number of people have been on that, so it's been coming down pretty. It's still 4.5 right there. I mean, are you good with the?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they don't have a lot of slam dunk wins, but I mean, they got maybe 6 or 7 games going to be priced around a field goal or so. I just think, I think they're going to be much improved. I mean, my power rating's got it like 5.25. So, I mean, I think there's some significant value there.
No, I agree. I think, you know what? I mean, this is one I agree. I bet he joined you with, the Washington State playing week 1, but then they got, a Colorado, Middle Tennessee, Utah Tech, I mean,
they're live in the Colorado game, man.
I totally agree. They're live. I think this team, this is Zach, if we want to dunk on Joey, I think this team has a chance to come out of the gate 4-1. Like, I would not be surprised if they were going 4-1, into that, the Boise game there. So, love Jay Norvell. Think they're on the upswing. So for me, I don't know if, again, sprinkle on the conference future flyer that if you can find something.
Yeah, we won't put that one on the books. It's obviously no longer 70-1. I think it's down to 40-1. So I was just playing stuff that, look, I mean, I'll pizza bet. And I'm not talking Little Caesars. I'm talking more of the, Pizza Rock here.
Yeah,
and
the fire oven, the coal,
the
good stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Where you got, yeah.
Yeah, so we play a little. If you're going to give me, double what I think it's going to be, I'm going to play a little bit. Good. I'm glad we have some of that on Colorado State. Is there any other team that's catching your eye? I know some people like San Jose State. I'm kind of indifferent there. Nevada, I'm pretty bullish on. They got a bunch of Power 5 transfers. I watched their spring game. They look good. Utah State, I'm very down on Utah State this year.
That was going to be
New Mexico, I'm down on. Hawaii, I'm more positive. I'm anxious to hear what you have to say on the other teams.
Yeah, I know from the dream run of Logan UT, baby, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
we seem to be heading in the wrong direction. And I didn't see a lot in this offseason that really made me want. Yeah, I know. It's the Blake Anderson era. Blake Anderson, who one of my favorite stories ever in terms of what he's gone through in his life and just impactful, powerful coach. After his wife died, just love the guy. Love what he was done to Utah State's first year. It just seems like it's a tough place to win. It is a tough place to that whatever they did here. Was just an incredible feat that they're able to get them to a conference championship. But yeah, I didn't see a lot to like in the offseason in terms of what they lost, what they're able to bring in. Timmy Chang season, baby.
You like him?
I'm a little. I feel like if you can get that, I think that they're offensively, they'll be pretty exciting. and it'll be much better this year. Now that they've kind of had an offseason, kind of returning quarterback. So kind of like what they'll be able to do on offense. Defense probably still going to be terrible. Some of those teams, though, you get them out on the island. And if you can, pick off, what is there, 3.5 for the most part? Did you play on their
I played over 3.5. We can lock that one in. I like that one quite a bit.
I agree with that. I think you get, hold on, let me see. And I tell you what, they've got, Stanford coming in there. They've got
They
Albany.
Can win that game.
Stanford better watch. I was going to say Stanford better watch out in that game. Then they get Albany. Our beloved New Mexico State is actually going out to Hawaii there. So yeah,
That's
they get
50-50 game.
Yeah. If you can, get a couple of these teams, and schedule out to the island, get wins there, win Albany, maybe. But so yeah, I like over 3.5. I think they'll be much improved offensively. Timmy, they needed a huge culture reset after the guy from Arizona who just completely terrorized the program there of what they were going. So Timmy Chang, I think, was the right hire. I think they'll be more fun this year. Added in some talent. Not good, but I think they can get to 4 wins.
So this is in the weeds a little bit, but you and I, when we were growing up, or at least when we were in high school and college, Hawaii was a late game and it was on ESPN, and they were really good under June Jones. And I think people paid attention to Hawaii more back then. They especially don't so much now. I'll tell you what, man. He inherited a horrific situation. Timmy Chang did. They quietly covered 7 of their last 8 games. I don't think people were realizing how competitive they were at the end of last year. They didn't win a bunch of games, but my goodness, they went from God. I think everyone watched the first game against Vanderbilt week 0 and watched them lose by 45 points. And then Western Kentucky came in and won by 40 points and Michigan killed them by 50. And they thought, Hawaii is the worst team in the country. After that, no, they were pretty competitive in the Mountain West. So I think if it was 2006, they would have been getting a little bit more publicity. Nobody watches those games on CBS College Sports or whatever network they're on now. All right, that's in the weeds, but I'll take
whatever app the Hawaii boosters got paid to put the random stream on that only streams Hawaii games. So yeah, they not too much. The late to Hawaii is a very gambling moment there. So I look forward to being able to sweat out our over 3.5 now at 2 a.m. East Coast.
There might be a little bit of sweat on this one. This one probably isn't one of our great value bets, but man, I could see them. If they continue that progression, they're gonna. And keep in mind, 13-game schedule, that doesn't always get factored in appropriately. It should for Hawaii, but some of the other schools it doesn't. Any other teams you want to talk? San Jose State, Nevada, New Mexico, any of those teams?
I think New Mexico is one of those where you're just at such even though I think I would say it was Dylan Hopkins. They got him over to New Mexico. Yep. That's not a bad start there, but man, are they starting from a really low bar there? So I think it'll be.
Does it worry you that Rocky Long left? His protege Danny Gonzalez is there. He's helping him out, and then Rocky Long just leaves and takes the Syracuse job at 72 years old or whatever.
I don't blame them for getting out of this or whatever they got going in Mexico. Tough play, even though we've our boy Jerry Kill in New Mexico State. We're both actual New Mexico. Again, tough place to recruit, tough place to win. Not a lot of in-state talent, and I think it's going to be a really rough go of it here again this year. So we'll see what they can come up with, but it's a program that doesn't have a lot of resources, not a lot of money. That Bob Davie really sunk into the absolute turf there. So yeah, it's gonna be a multi-year to get them back to at least even be a bowl team again. So.
Let's recap what we got. We got Boise State to win the conference at plus 220-ish. We got UNLV under 6 wins. We got Wyoming under 6.5 wins here. We got Hawaii over 3.5 wins. Am I missing one? I think that's it, right?
Yep.
All right. So that's a pretty good show. We got enough action there as far as the Mountain West. Unless you got some final thoughts, that's going to wrap it up.
I like it, baby. Mountain West, a crisp Mountain West air, and we'll see if we can, we switching over from Logan. Where the hell, where does Colorado State, what city is that university?
Fort Collins.
There we go, baby.
Yeah, we do have it over 4.5 on Colorado State. That was the other one.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah, and we'll see if we can. Hopefully, this is one where I think you can kind of get a juicy conference sprinkle here. The wide open Mountain West could be a fun one this year.
That is Joey Knish. Guys, make sure you, if you like our content and you like Knish, or you just love to hate the guy, please make sure you
I enjoy that
button.
too. Keep bringing it on, baby. It fuels the show.
Yeah, there you go. And he's all about that. Joey's social media. If you want to follow a really good follow on Twitter, follow Knish, Joey Knish on Twitter.
It's not boring.
No, it's not. Definitely not. Especially he covers a wide variety of topics. You name it, he covers it. If you're listening audio form to this, please rate and review it 5 stars. For Joey Knish, for our producer Zach Phillips, I'm Brad Powers. You just watched the Mountain West preview on Hit the Books, part of the Hammer Betting Network.